good morning, good evening, or good day. But whenever you're clicking on this video, you're making the right decision. Pelicans Daily presented by Fan Arch. I'm your host, Dylan Bruton. Make sure to like, to share, to subscribe. Because when you're chilling with Dill, you already know the drill. Now, I know y'all like, yo, where you at? This is a whole different background. And you're right. I'm not in the same spot as before, but that's just how life goes. Sometimes you gotta move, you gotta adjust, you gotta pick up, be able to pivot. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be able to make use of momentum. So yeah, that's just how it goes. That's also why, I'm saying, things have been so hectic. I've been moving, but hey, nothing can keep me away from talking about our Pelicans. But man, oh, what the hell, man? 0-4? Really? After all I was talking, after all that I was hyping up, we can't even win one. One game? But I will say though, hope is not all lost. I think the thing that with what I noticed in watching with this team is that there clearly wasn't the full comfort yet of cohesion, and that's one thing that's hard in the summer league is that it's a short increment of time. It's a very isolated period, and if if you hadn't built that continuity beforehand, it's hard to just come in there and then just full throttle. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a process ultimately. It's not something that you're gonna have all those same guys with you come season time. So you're trying to build up, something. You're trying to build that again. You're trying to build that unity. It's a lot harder. So that's why when the moment calls, you got to be ready to call your own shot. And that is a perfect segue because Jeremiah Fears, yes, Jeremiah Fears, this last game versus OKC showed exactly why he was picked number 7. He showed exactly why he was our first round pick. The young man put up 22 points, 6 boards, and 6 assists on 8 of 15 shooting. Now, overall, when we look at some of this efficiency, okay, throughout the summer league, he shot nearly 39% from the floor, about 17% from three, and nearly 73% from the free throw line. That efficiency is not gonna cut it. Okay, let's be very very clear. That efficiency comes season time. Oh no 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 no. But it's the fact that there was improvement each game. What I was most impressed by was the game was becoming slower for him. He was playing at a better pace. And what I loved is that zero fears. He lives up to that. The fact that for the most part he was really trying to win, taking it to the basket. I was very impressed. I was very impressed. I actually saw, I think it was on House of Highlights, because I was just perusing and just seeing people's thoughts and all that. And I saw someone say like the way that he attacks the basket is he's like it was someone was saying it's not with the same athleticism, but the way in which he attacks the basket is very Derrick Rose esque. And I was like, ooh, that's actually not a bad comparison. Now, is that saying he's going to be the next D Rose and all that? No, no, no. I ain't saying all that. But as y'all recall, John Wall was a player in his pre-draft this like pre-draft comparison in the scouting report. So if he can achieve anywhere close to that of a John Wall or a D Rose, I mean, we hit that pick out the park. But I was very impressed, right? He showed a lot of resilience this whole summer league, and I know definitely you know, people weren't necessarily the most forgiving in the social media comments and stuff like that, and it's a lot. But his confidence never wavered, and when he got on after one of the games, was like, I'm gonna be a top 2 point guard. I was like, yo, I love this kid, man. Okay, he's not a kid, but I love this young man. Like the moment is never too big. And I know people are gonna see the stats, they're gonna see the efficiency, they're gonna say, oh my gosh, no, 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 no. But it's the summer league, man. I talked about last episode. Kyle Kuzma was a dog at the summer league. Okay, there's no guarantees. There's no guarantees. There's no guarantees. I've been lucky to be able to go to summer league for many years, so I've been able to see a lot of great talent. And you know, I think overall, the fact that he ended on a stronger note than previous, I think that's the most encouraging sign of all. When the chips were down, and granted, like for the first 3 quarters, it was a winnable game. OKC just pulled away immensely from the from third quarter to fourth. They pulled away, um, but you could still see the talent, right? You could still see everything on display of what we wanted. And we saw an improvement in playmaking. I said last episode, that is what I need to see more from Jeremiah Fears. I need to see more point guard play. I can't just see you being the scorer. Because I know you can score. That's not we're not under a mystery here. But we need to see you distribute. We need to see you initiate and set the offense. And he was trusting his teammates a lot more. And turnover battle, because I was like, I'm not about to calculate all these turnovers. I ain't trying to make him sound you know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to put his name down, but the turnover battle was an issue those first 3 games. This game, I think he only had like 1 or 2. So I was just again very impressed overall. This was by far his best performance. I would go as far as say I he was the best player in the court today. He was the best player in the court in my opinion. So I would give him at least a B plus A minus game. Now it wasn't perfect, but that was his best pound pound for pound performance. There we go. Got to say that right. Overall, I would give Jeremiah Fears for the summer league. I would give, given that he ended stronger, I'd give him a C plus. Now that's me saying all that nice stuff and giving him a C plus. It's like what? But it's like no. At the end of the day, you passed. You showed great promise, and there's more to come. There's more in store. So I think honestly, watch for Jeremiah Fears in preseason, right? When he's fully around guys that are going to be on the team, and there's going to be a different type of responsibility. But then he's also just again building up more of that camaraderie and continuity with his team. Watch out. Watch out. So yeah, I'm giving him a C plus for the summer league. Showed enough signs of like you are worthy of this draft pick, but we need to see more. But the potential, it's there. It is there. Make no mistake, it is there. So I'm very impressed. Very impressed with what I've seen from Jeremiah Fears. Keep the momentum going. Zero fears. You feel me? That's exactly how you got to be rolling. All right. My guy Derrick Queen though, man, they didn't have Derek Queen play in this last game versus OKC, but versus Portland, I told y'all Derek Queen. Watch the matchup between him and Yang Hansun, and that was a great matchup. You know what I'm saying? It was a battle between two young bigs that are highly versatile, highly skilled, able to handle the ball, able to shoot, and it was a clinic out there. I was so impressed with what I saw from Derek Queen. He had 17 points, 10 boards, 3 assists, a steal, and 2 blocks. Um, Derek Queen to me impressed me so much. Now I'm gonna give Chris Lambert his maybe some due. He might be onto something. He said the best way to unlock Derek Queen is to play him at his natural position of the 5. He's not like versus the 4. I think there's some truth to that. I think it's tough because I think just him and Eve. I think they can mesh, right? Because you got Eve as like a interior paint defender, rim runner type, right? But then you got Derek Queen, who is more of a soft touch, jumbo playmaker, um, someone who can beat you from the post, someone who can beat you from outside. So it's not like he's limited in his capacity. Um, I think the thing with Derek Queen that I was also impressed with was his aggression level in this Portland game versus any of the other games that he was in. And I think that's what ultimately led to his performance. Because if you watch the way that he was, you know, as soon as he was catching the ball and how he was facing up on people or how he was backing them down or um, how aggressive he was being. Like you could just see a difference more than in any of the games. And I think that was kind of the thing is that people were like, okay, the talent is evident, the versatility is evident, but we need to see you be even more aggressive. We need to see you even more like on it. And look, Hansen had like 15 points, but he only had 3 boards. He had 2 blocks, yeah, but he was getting bullied on the block by Derrick Queen. Derrick Queen had 17, 10, and 3, stealing 2 blocks. So I mean, hey, and he had 5 offensive rebounds and 5 defensive rebounds. So for Derrick Queen, right? Derrick Queen finished the summer league averaging 14 a game, 11 boards, 2 assists, nearly a steal and a block. Field goal efficiency wise, shot around 44% from the field, 72 from the free throw line, and 50% from three. I personally would have liked to see more of a sample size of his 3 point floor spacing because I know what he's capable of when he puts it all together, and I believe that that is going to be a great asset and weapon for him. But I also love that he still has that old school big man approach of like, yo, I want to beat you in the paint. I want to beat you on the block. Yes, because too many of these bigs nowadays want to be guards. What happened to the back to the basket big? You know what I'm saying? Like it's the phenomenon that I ask myself daily. But I was very impressed with Derek Queen, especially this last game because he showed, yeah, I want the moment. I am not afraid. I'm give me the rock. You know what I'm saying? There was he was just so aggressive out there, and people were kind of saying that, oh, well, he needs to get stronger. He's a little too soft. X, Y, Z. He showed exactly why we traded up for him in that Portland game. Saved his best for last. And so, if I could say anything about with Derek Queen and Jeremiah Fears, the fact that they saved their best for last, right? They showed more than enough of why we picked them in the first round, why we made an effort, why we made an investment, why even at the risk of being clowned by the entire league. But again, success does not always follow a linear path. Sometimes you got to take those unconventional methods, and sometimes you have to try throwing something throwing something at the wall and hoping it sticks. That's different. You can't just do it from the same angle. So the fact that with Derek Queen, right, we all know trading that first round pick unprotected, they brought that up quite a bit in the broadcast. But people also were like, this young man is going to work. He's cooking out there, and he was, yo. Like it's just the offensive skill. Once his defensive game catches up, it's over. The offensive skill set is there, right? He's got the soft touch, the footwork. He's got a really nice looking jump shot, and he plays mean. He plays like when he like this game was a perfect prime example of like, yo, bro, keep playing mean. The meaner you play, the better. He was playing like I'm angry. Y'all been talking crazy on me, and this dude on the other end of the court, I got picked before him for a reason. Like, what are we talking about here? So I love that. I love the aggression. I love that. Um, I love the desire because again, when you show that type of energy, it doesn't matter the final score result. What did you do in the game? Now I know people are gonna say, "What? Why are you gonna say winning?" No, winning matters, but at the end of the day, if you have a great performance and the rest of your team doesn't, there's only so much you can do. Now, granted, yes, the greatest players are the ones who are still able to elevate the rest of the team. And I was impressed with Derek Queen, even though the assist totals weren't anything crazy. It was one of those things of like he made a lot of good passes, he made a lot of good reads, and again, saved his best for last. He had the turnover issue those first 2 games. This game mellowed out, was a lot more efficient with the ball. I'm interested to see what happens during regular season. It's kind of interesting how with both Derek Queen and Jeremiah Fears that they're both kind of like combo positional players, right? We know Jeremiah Fears is a point that can play the two, but he's a point that's more of a scorer, right? We know Derek Queen could play both the 5 and the 4. He's got more of size for the 4, but he might be better at the 5. So I wonder how that's all going to work itself out. I do. But if I was to grade Derrick Queen, I would give him a B, like a solid B. And that again, wait till preseason when these guys have more experience under the belt. They both were 5-star recruits out of high school for a reason, and they showed why they were able to make the jump from being freshmen to playing in the league, one and done style. So um, overall, yeah, I would give Derrick Queen a B. Showed a lot of great encouraging signs out there. I loved what I saw from Derrick Queen. I love that he kept responding to the challenge, right? Because that first game, you know, the first half was a little rough. I ain't gonna lie. Johan Behringer had my son in Alcatraz. He had him in the torture chamber. So I was a little bit like, oh, uh-oh. Is that athleticism? Is that or the lack of it? Or not. I don't want to say he's not athletic because he showed to me also that he's a lot more fluid on his feet. He gets a lot. Again, the footwork. He gets a lot better. His momentum and his mobility is a lot better than people even fully realize. But I was a little bit worried, just a bit. I was like, ooh, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. But he hey, a lot of our concerns, this last game showed exactly who Derek Queen is. Just like this last game showed who Jeremiah Fears is. So overall, yeah, Derek Queen, he had a smaller sample size of having played 3 games versus Jeremiah played all 4. But I'm gonna still give him a B. So overall, we went out, we accomplished a lot. There are victories to be had. There are. There are. Especially when you look at at your top 2 rookies' performances. Now, initially I did want to grade Micah Peavy, but I just feel like it wasn't fair to him because of how small his sample size was. He didn't play game 2, then he only played like a couple minutes in game 3. I didn't want to do all that. Preseason though, yeah, different thing, different thing. Just because there'll be more of an understanding of who's actually on the roster, who's actually on the team, all those things. But let's look at some stats, right? Now, this is rare for me. I'm not really a person who's just gonna throw a bunch of stats at you, especially with no context. So, well, there's context here. So yeah. What am I talking about? But let's just talk about some stats, some team stats. I'm of these next few days break down more individual players' performances. I like doing it that way. That way, I can really, you know what I'm saying, talk about these guys in particular and specific. But the stats to analyze. So, man, did we get cooked statistically? So, we only scored 85 a game. That was an issue, right? 25th in scoring. We had more than enough bucket getters. We had more than enough shooters. We had more than enough scores. And I'm not pinning that on Coach Brewer particular, but more so maybe there need to be a revamp of some bit of the offensive play calling. Now, it's not like the NFL where, I mean, yeah, you have coaches who lean into different skills, but it's not like the NFL where you have an outright offensive coordinator or a defensive coordinator. Um, but we actually defended better than we scored because we allowed 95 points, which was 22nd. Neither of these are good stat metrics. And we had a 10 a 10 10 point differential, which was 29. So overall, we won no statistical battles, none. But you know what I say to all of this, right? When you watch the film footage, every game we were in it. We were competitive. We were fighting. And if there's anything that I could take away is that we fought. We fought to the very end. Every single game. Some of those scores were a little bit misleading because we were still fighting in it. We were still showing up and we were still trying. Now, I know people are going to say, yo, that's incredibly optimistic. That's damn near delusional. Maybe. But look, as the great Muhammad Ali once said, if your dreams don't scare you, they ain't big enough. That's a quote I take with me wherever I go. And overall, I feel like with this team, right? Yeah, we didn't win the stat battle. We didn't win a single game. And I was over here talking about it like, yo, we could go to the finals and all that. But every single game, the fact that we were competitive, that is a step up versus where we were last year. And these things take time. Building a new culture is not something that just occurs overnight. And granted, this is summer league. We don't have everybody who's actually going to be on the roster out there. You gonna tell me that if we had Zion or Trey out there, you don't think they would feast? Like, come on now, come on now. Now that doesn't excuse them. 0-4 is not okay. In preseason time, no, can't be doing the same stuff. Mm-mm. Because now you're actually like at your closest to getting to the season. So I'm gonna have a lot of fun covering preseason just because like the stakes are higher. Plus, we'll know who's on the team versus like right now and through training camp. I mean, and to a degree with preseason too. But it's not like the NFL where you got to cut like half the roster, down. It's only like you can only have a few guys. But overall, yeah, I feel like there was encouraging signs out there. One thing I will say, like during the season, Coach Green has to make sure that ball movement is you know the most prominent thing because we did not pass enough. It was a lot of guys out there trying to get their own shot, which I can't even fault them. I can't even blame them. This is their moment to opportunity to do so, but you got to do it within the flow of the offense. And that was the thing that impressed me with Jeremiah Fears. That was the thing that impressed me with Derrick Queen was that they started realizing, okay, wait a minute. Yeah, I got all this pedigree. Yeah, I got all this attention on me, but I got to do it within the flow of the team. So with Jeremiah Fears, he saved his best for last, had his most assists. Derrick Queen, when he wasn't, looking to dominate his matchup in the post or in the paint, he was creating open looks for others. And as long as we do that for the season, we're going to be all right. We're going to be good. We're going to be, in a much better position and predicament than last year. And that's ultimately the goal. We went 21-61 last year. Any step up is a victory. You got to take the small victories when you can. That does not mean that the team does not deserve to be held accountable. Oh no, 0-4 in the summer league is not going to cut it. But I'm not going to panic and be like, it's over. It's over. Oh my God, we got no chance. No, I ain't doing all of that. I'm not. There's more to do. There's more to accomplish, more to see. Okay? So yeah. So the stats might not look the best on paper, but hey, we still got preseason coming up. So stay tuned, y'all. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Because once the season hits and we really got everybody out there, and as long as everyone's healthy, I'm not waving for my prediction. I'm standing on business on this one. Like I said, when I'm wrong, I will admit I'm wrong. I will say, you know what? Hey, that didn't go as planned. And I, that's why. Just, some fire has to be held to their feet for going 0-4 in the summer league. Make no mistake. But it's not all doom and gloom. Nowhere close. Nowhere close. So yeah, I still think this team could be a playoff team. I still think this team could easily outdo, could win from anywhere from 48 to 53 games. Hey, look, anything's an improvement over 21-61, right? For number one. And then two, let's outdo what we did in 2024. 20, you know what I mean by that. 23-24. Let's outdo that. We've got the personnel, we got the roster. So let's just all put it together. Because champions aren't just one on paper. You gotta go out there and compete. You gotta go out there and ball out. So overall though, I was impressed. I was impressed with what I saw, but there also are things that have to improve dramatically, drastically. There's no excuse for it. But there was a lot of encouraging signs, and that's most important to me. All right, my favorite part, responding to y'all. So I'm a little hurt that there wasn't more comments, but it's all good. I'm gonna respond to each and every one. Uh, Number one from Elijah LFX. Why is there no one talking about number 42? Well, Elijah, I do want to say I did talk about Mr. Christian Shoemate, and the thing I was impressed with him was his energy and his fact and his ability to kind of you know do whatever was necessary for the team. I covered him. He's a fellow, well, not fellow to me, but he's got the goal of being the seventh McNeese player in the NBA, right? From McNeese State, where President Dumars went to school, and you know throughout the summer league, he didn't get a ton of burn. I actually feel like he could have gotten some more. But from what I saw that junkyard dogness to his game, the dunks, the shoemakers as they get called. Yeah, I mean he was punching in any chance he got. I definitely would have loved to see like more offensive game. I would have loved to have seen more versatility on that side, but defensively crashing the glass and then just getting open for dunks, he did that perfectly. So yeah, I'm not I'm not out the loop. Is all I want to say, Elijah. Um, yeah, it's only three comments. Um, Don Dada 432. You real calm today. Look, man, the day that I had when I did that video, woo! The day I had today, woo! But the energy is gonna be back. It's just moving. It's a lot. It takes a lot out of me. So yeah, that's all. That's the only reason why. If y'all well like, why is he so overly calm? First off, I do want to say though, I am actually a very laid back person. It's just sports. I get passionate. That's all. I'm a passionate person, but I'm actually like a pretty like laid back guy. I know that people are like, what you? Yeah, I am. I like a lot of my friends don't believe me, but the friends who are more extroverted, they believe me. They're like, oh no, you can be really introverted and quiet. Yeah, bro. Sometimes I just want to peep everything. So yeah, I'm a little more quiet, but it's just you gotta be quiet. You gotta be calm. You gotta be chill in the face of the storm. You know. But yeah. And then last comment from my guy, Brother Yon. Why y'all acting like Antonio Reeves is some kind of world beater? Apparently, no other front office is as high on him as you are, since nobody snatched him up when he was waived. Now he has a chance to prove his worth, and rightfully so. Well, Brother Yon, appreciate the comment. Um, I've never said that he's a world beater, but I think that he's got a ceiling that is a lot higher than people are giving him full credit for. And unfortunately, he did not have a good performance this last summer league game, so that did not do well for his stock. But overall, I feel like Antonio Reeves showed a lot out there, and I would go as far to say that he was our best player throughout the summer league. So I feel like for him, yeah, you don't always have the best possible games, and in this particular case, he did not have the best game. But it wasn't of what I saw. I still was impressed because you know he was able to make an impact. He was able to go out there and take the lead role, to be the dominant guard, to be the guy that the defenses were game planning for. And he never backed down from the moment. No fear. And I think that's the thing that I liked the most was that fighting spirit. That's something that has been missing. And even though, I'm saying Antonio Reeves did not play well, he still was out there fighting. He still was out there fighting through screens. He still was out there giving effort. And he only played 15 minutes, so it's like it's kind of tough to judge him on the same sample size versus we went deeper in our bench. You know what I'm saying? Trey Alexander got a lot of burn. Trey Alexander led the team in scoring, even though Jeremiah Fears to me had the best game. But right after, I'd say, I mean, it kind of depends too. I mean, Trey Alexander showed his shooting ability and stuff like that, and Shoemate as well. I mean, it kind of depends because he had 10 boards, but the free throws he left some easy left some points on the board. Um, But yeah, I'm not acting like he's some world beater, but I think he's talented. The young man can score at every part of the court. He's getting better as a defender. He didn't really show it enough, but he's getting better as a distributor too. So, I did see him make good passes. It just they didn't always lead to assists. But yeah, I'm I was impressed with Antonio Reeves by far, best player in the team. I kind of expected that. I expected either him or Eve, and I'll talk about Eve next video. Because again, there was good and bad. There was good, bad, and ugly with it all. But Antonio Reeves, I'll do more of a break. I'll do more of a breakdown of his game. Um, but I would say Antonio Reeves was at like a B+ level sans this last game. So if we don't sign him, another team will. But I think it's just more so, teams are kind of like, okay, like for the most part, we can see that he's probably going to remain a Pelican. So we'll see. We'll see what happens when training camp rolls around. We'll see what happens when preseason rolls around. Stay tuned for more. Um, but yeah, that's it. Y'all didn't really comment. I must not have gotten my hot take bag, but it's all good. The hot take stuff is kind of killing sports discourse. I'd rather talk the real, the raw, but the truth at the end of the day. But yeah, man. Hope y'all continue to stay blessed and amazing. Stay tuned for more. Um, yeah, stay tuned for more. Stay tuned for more. Might have some updates. But if y'all are in the summer league, y'all are in Vegas, hit a hit a brother up. But most importantly, though, like, share, subscribe. The only way that this goes is if it grows, right? The numbers, though, numbers that my numbers, on the other hand, are looking mighty good. So I'm proud of myself, hey. But I love talking about these Pelicans. So continue to support, continue to show love. Share this channel with anybody who loves the Pelicans, who is obsessed, who is, a diehard. Because those are the type of fans I want to be around. Not these fair weather ones, not these ones who are ready to jump ship at any bit of adversity. No, no. Because you know what? Life is not always cotton candy. It's not always peaches and cream. It's not. You got to go through it sometimes to know. You got to go through it to know it. Experience is the best teacher. But continue to show love, continue to show support. More on the way. Stay tuned, stay blessed. But y'all have a great rest of your day. Y'all have a great rest of your week. All that. Stay tuned for more.